Farm2Table Direct Show here in Nowata, Oklahoma at the new Beginnings Homestead Expo. And over my right shoulder here, we have Coral Hale, who's talking about chicken ailments and remedies. I'm going to back off here and let's take a listen to what she's got to say.
Because it goes through the back of the head, where the spine next to the skull, there's a rather large opening. And it's possible if you want to sketch a bird humanly, pull a wing feather, take that quill end, push it into that hole, that little space between the opening in the skull and the spine, and the bird will be instantly gone. No pain, you won't feel it. Question?
How would I know that you oftentimes do a post-mortem or autopsy?
Mhm.
How would you see that if
Well,
that were the case for that bird?
It's very, very hard to tell because the opening, base of the skull, or in the neck is so small that you would need to use a microscope. Not a microscope. You would need to use a magnifying glass to go down the skin in order to find the puncture, because it's just a beak puncture, little tiny puncture.
I am absolutely amazed. I've never heard of such a thing.
Well, people say my bird was perfectly healthy, and they're right. It was. And it died because it was recommended by a superior that was its superior. And it happens all the time. And most people won't believe it until they see it for themselves. I've never caught one of those on video, so I don't have any way to prove it, but I've seen it happen plenty of times. And you think, I really like that bird. I'm sorry that that happened, but it's a natural part of their pecking order. So you're going to have it that reprimands another bird, and you'll end up with one that doesn't make it. So that's an unexplained death of a healthy bird. So now you know what's probably happened. Probably. The only time that wouldn't apply would be if your bird goes by himself. Okay, so that's an unexplained death. For non-infectious diseases, you've got parasites that are internal. The external are easiest to take care of. A lot of people like to use an off-label one. Addicted to cattle, use it on lactating cattle. It's supposed to be safe, but I don't know that the studies are conclusive either way. I generally powder my birds. I use either 7 dust or poultry dust, whatever's on sale when I go to the feed store. You put your bird into a pillowcase, put enough powder in there that you know you're going to have good coverage. Hold that closed with the head out. You don't want that powder going into the eyes of the bird, and just fluff. And you will end up getting that powder in every place that it needs to be on your bird. I've seen people who will sit down, hold the bird on their lap, powder, rub, and the bird, that's it. They'll go through an entire canister of powder trying to do one bird. So be smart about it. Use something like a pillowcase, and you'll powdering your bird really well. They'll like it, you'll like it, and they'll be without their external parasites. If you see one bird in your flock that has parasites, treat your whole flock, because they're sharing. Even though you don't see them, they're sharing. Let's see. Scale legs. Folks who take in birds, and the birds that have scaly legs, it's not a big deal. Use Vaseline, petroleum jelly. Just put a good coating over those legs. It may take every day for a week for you to start to see results, but it smothers the mites that have actually gone underneath the scales in the leg and into the skin. So if you try something like a poultry spray, it's not going to kill those mites. You have to suffocate them if you have scaly leg mice. Okay. Oh, there's a product that I've never tried. It's called Manipro Poultry Protector. It's supposed to work on chickens for external parasites. I don't have any experience with it, so I don't know how good it is. I would have to look at the label, because that would tell me whether or not that's something that you've already got at home. A lot of times that's the case. Okay, coccidiosis is mostly something that you see in baby chicks. It is possible for adult birds to get it, it's not as common. And it's because the adult bird has built up a resistance over time, but the new birds don't have any resistance to the other sites that are in the environment. They're in the ground, in the water, they're everywhere. So make sure that if you see anyone in your brooder with those symptoms, you treat the whole group like that. But if you start with the medicated chick starter, it's not ever going to be a problem for you. Okay, bumblefoot. This is where I need to show you how to make a chicken burrito. A lot of controversy about bumblefoot. It's a staph infection that enters through it's a staph infection that enters through a cut in the foot. These cuts can be from running on rocks, from stepping on sharp sticks, from getting tangled up in wire, anything that's sharp came through. And if you have wire bottom cages, check. Run your hand along the entire bottom of that cage. If you feel any burr, anything that's sharp, make sure that you get in there and take care of that so that you don't end up injuring yours. Okay. This is a little hen. We're going to pretend that she has dirty face from eating all that food this morning. Okay. We're going to pretend that she has bumblefoot. Now, some people say, take a tote, cut a hole in the top, put some water into the tote, let her stick her head at the top of the tote, and then she can sit in there for 15 or 20 minutes to soften up the scab. I don't like to do that because 9 out of 10 times my bird will sit down in the Epsom salt water. And that's not okay. So if you pure it up so that you have the bird burrito, then you can handle your feet, and she has beautiful clean feet. And what I do is I take a heavy duty Ziploc bag and I put warm water and Epsom salt in there, and then I make a chicken burrito and I just put that bag on here and I hold it and I talk to her, and we might walk around the yard, and I'm going to massage that foot, and I'm going to keep it nice and wet. And she's going to get a lot more out of that than she would if she were confined with her head sticking out the top of a plastic tote. Plus, you're not going to end up with Epsom salt going up into the bird where you don't want it to be. Now, with bumblefoot, you would see a black spot in the bottom of the foot pad, or you might see bumps in between the toes. And all of that staph infection can be removed without cutting the foot. A lot of people say, oh, just take a scalpel and cut that thing out of there. But you don't want to do that. That's too invasive. What you're going to do is, once you've softened it with the Epsom salt soak, then you're just going to take your fingernail and gently peel back that black scab. When that comes off of there, then you're going to hold your hands on either side and press away from the infection. Press away from the infection, and that's going to loosen it up. It's kind of like trying to get a cupcake out. I mean, you want to do it gently. You don't want to dig in there because you'll cause big mess. You just want to gently remove it. If you dig in there, you're pressing that infection further into the skin. So what you want to do is you just want to gently work the skin away from the opening until it starts to come loose. And then you can take something that isn't sharp. I have tools that are paddle tools or little probes, and I can use that very soft rounded edge to gently get behind and just scoop that out. It's going to be a hard kernel of pus. Generally, it's yellow. And once you've got it out of there, the only thing you need to do for the next few days is spray it with a little bit of Vectorsin. And I don't think I brought any to show you guys. Vectorsin and Curacin are the same product. If you want to know the name of a product that has the exact same ingredient in it, but it's going to cost you a fraction of the amount, just let me know your email and I'll send that information to you. I forgot to bring the container. Spray it every day for a couple of days. Keep the bird on a wire cage so that they're not getting it in the dirt. Some people insist you've got to wrap that thing up. You've got to put vet wrap around that to keep things out. You need air going in. To heal that up quickly, you need it to be open to the air. So we don't want to cover it up. You want to keep them in a wire bottom cage. And within a week, you're going to see that's completely closed up. And as soon as that opening is closed and your bird is no longer exhibiting any signs of discomfort by standing, then you just return them to your coop. But this business of wrapping and unwrapping, if you have that kind of time, I guess you could do that, but it's going to actually slow the healing. So it's not the way that I would want to treat the bird. Yeah, I'm going to put you back in.
Okay, there you have it, folks. We just learned a little bit about the ailments of chickens, and the particular thing that I had never heard before was chicken burrito. I understand what that means now,
There's only
and
one
how to treat
chemical on the market
bumblefoot.
approved by the
So
FDA
anyway,
for killing
please stay tuned because we come back
It's called
more coverage in
wild
Oklahoma
yeast.
of the
This pipe
Beginnings Homestead
so
Expo.
only kill your roundworms and hookworms.